Welcome to Real Talks with Pinks. Thank you for joining us every other week. Keep liking, sharing, and commenting on our videos. So today I'm dressed by the beautiful Bununu. Please check them out on Instagram and Facebook. So, Dadeli Sanyan, I'm gonna ask you to introduce yourself and then I'll introduce the topic of the day.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Lisa Yan, Advocate Lisa Yan. And to basically describe myself, I'm a lawyer, an educator, and a creative at heart.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Advocate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we are going to discuss and continue our career series, and in particular, we are going to talk about the commercial side of things. So, Ntateli Sanyan, can you please tell us what you studied and what you are currently doing, the type of things you are engaged in?
Okay.
Yes.
So I actually studied a lot of things. But my major qualifications are my LLB degree from the National University of Lesotho and my master's from Stellenbosch University. My master's is in intellectual property law from Stellenbosch University. Apart from that, I have quite a number of certifications. The most recent one is compliance management from UCT. I have a couple of others in technology and technology transfer and intellectual property. I have a few others in commercial law and contracts drafting. Quite a number of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to tell me what are some of the things that you do with small businesses in your commercial, your law firm.
Okay. So first of all, I am, like I said earlier, I'm an educator. I'm currently a lecturer at the National University of Lesotho, also a legal consultant at Legalize Daily.
Okay.
So Legalize Daily is a legal consulting firm in Lesotho. We deal with a lot of commercial issues, including intellectual property, contracts management, compliance management for businesses, property law, and a couple of others. So I work with a lot of small businesses on issues of company law, on issues of contracts, and just normal consultations, because most of them you find, on the startup phase, they really have quite a number of questions. I want to do this, I want to do that. And then we're just there to fill in the gap to say, okay, so these are the legal things you need to look out for when you want to venture into this and that.
Okay. So I want to bring it to the audience for anyone who may have an idea. A lot of young people in Lesotho, they have ideas.
Of course.
And some go on to implement the ideas and start their small businesses. So how do you help those people with those ideas? Because sometimes I may be discussing something with my friend. I don't even know the legal implications. So why is it important to consult a commercial lawyer?
Look, I think for my part, it's important to consult with a lawyer when you want to venture into anything, to first of all look into the compliance issues, whether what you want to do is legal. If it's legal, how do you keep it legal? If it's not legal, how can you make it legal? There's also issues of intellectual property. Some people have ideas and they want to know, how can I protect this idea? What are the measures there for me in Lesotho to protect this particular idea? At which point can this idea become protectable? So on and so forth. So we just basically guide these. It could be an entrepreneur, it could be an individual who just happens to have an idea to say, okay, so these are the things to look out for. If it's contracts, maybe you have an idea, it's a group of people, you and your friends, you come up with an idea. I'm like, okay, so the first thing to do is to determine what share each person has in this particular idea, to avoid a situation where there's conflict as to who owns what and who doesn't own what.
All right.
If it's an idea, IP, intellectual property, maybe the idea belongs to someone and we're like, look, this thing is already existing, so you don't really have total ownership over it, so on and so forth.
Oh, okay. So this is where you come in, because I've heard a lot of people complain, especially on social media, that I have this logo, but now they are using the logo. So this is where you come in as a commercial lawyer, because I see that a lot, people fighting over logos, over
and
names.
Concepts. I have this concept, this person is now doing my concept. And for the record, I usually tell I'm a free information. Concepts and ideas are not protectable as intellectual property, for the record.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But with ideas, we say protection comes in the moment you start implementing your idea. Then we can start looking into legal mechanisms available for that particular implementation that you have done. Maybe if it's a TV show, you have a concept of a TV show, and then you want to protect the setting or how you deal with the whole proceedings. Then we can say, okay, we can only deal with it once you have started doing it, as opposed to the concept part of it.
Oh, okay.
And many other things. I mean, people have ideas all the time. Before they can be implemented, all of them are just imagination. So we can't really protect imagination. So hey.
That sounds funny. No, that sounds funny.
And it's sad to tell people that. It's sad to tell someone, no, look, do something about it, then only then can we start saying, okay, so copyright can be applicable, this can be applicable, that can be applicable.
Okay. No, that is totally fine. Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the challenges in working with small businesses? I know a lot of people start businesses for a living because we know we have high unemployment rate in Lesotho. So what are some of those challenges?
Okay, as a businessman myself, I think the greatest challenge is that small businesses don't really have a cash flow. Because as a businessman, I'm obviously looking forward to being paid for my services. That's the greatest one, that most of them have these ideas, or and we want to work with them, but they can't pay for our services as much as we would. Although sometimes we do pro bono and stuff like that. Secondly, small business owners or entrepreneurs, I understand they're passionate and so on and so forth, but they supposedly know, you can't tell them what to do, in their own visions and whatever. I think that's the most difficult part about it. They want you to listen to them. I mean, when you come to me as a lawyer, it's like going to a counselor or to a doctor.
Yes.
You expect to be diagnosed, you expect to be guided, but it's most of the time you find and it's a dilemma.
So what do you say to those people listening who own small businesses, who may not really even see that it's worth listening to someone who's been in the field to take this advice so that they grow their business from small to medium and
Yeah, I think as a person, it's important to realize that you can't know everything. Okay, if perhaps you're in IT, you can't necessarily know the legal dynamics of your business. So that calls for you approaching someone with the know-how of that particular business who can guide you to say, okay, these are the things to look out for. This is how you do this. I know with contracts as well. You find some people say, I can always take a contract online, and then I can use it in my business. And I tell them, look, it's taking a template that's already drafted online. It may not be relevant to what you're trying to do. The stubbornness that most of them have, it makes it difficult for them to be guided properly.
So I also want us to tap into your career because we're still on the career series. So you did mention you are doing this as a commercial lawyer, but you're also a lecturer at the National University of Lesotho, and you are still quite fresh or new in this field.
Yes,
absolutely. So do you want to tell us what are some of the experiences or opportunities or things that happened along your way that propelled your career, even though you're still new in the field, for you to be where you are now?
Okay. Look, to be honest, I haven't been around the block for a long time. Okay. The greatest opportunities that have come to me that have, brought me to where I am now is being able to go to school. And being able to learn, anytime when I want to, because every time I am always looking out to learn, to get a certificate in something, to improve my knowledge, so on and so forth. So the fact that I was able to learn, and I'm still able to learn, that has propelled my career so much, because now I'm relevant in a number of things that are needed today. you know. And then even being a lecturer at this point in time to me is a blessing because of, you know, always learning, and you end up being a specialist in a particular field which you otherwise wouldn't have been able to be there had you not gone out to learn and study more.
Thank you so much. You speak of the power of education and using your skills. Yes. You are tapping into what one of our guests was talking about. Yes. Learning along the way, whatever you know, your skills, utilizing them. Our program is also about empowering young people. Okay. What do you say to other young people who want to follow in your footsteps? They may wanting to study LLB, but we're not aware of commercial law and, you know.
I think what I can say to young people is set yourself apart. Now I've always been the kind of person that will set himself apart when I get the chance. You know, be different. Don't be afraid to be different. If you want to be a lawyer, there are many kinds of lawyers out there. Decide which kind of lawyer you want to be and pursue it. You know, I know I did mention also that I do a lot of entertainment law. I work with a lot of creatives, musicians. This is something that's very new in Lesotho. Yes. When I said I wanted to work with musicians, when I wanted to work with creatives, a lot of my colleagues would frown on the idea of having to work with creatives as a lawyer because it's something that's foreign. Now myself as a creative and as a former musician and as a person who loves the arts, you know, I found it as something that I can do and succeed in because some people are doing it out there and it's great, you know. So young people, set yourself apart, decide what you want to do and pursue it. I mean, there's a lot of standards that people like society is putting on us. When you're a lawyer, you have to do this. Or in fact, when you're a young person, when you've graduated, you're expected or waiting to in school. It's not a must. If you want to do something, pursue it. That's all.
Thank you so much. If you want to do something, pursue it.
Just pursue it.
Even if you studied it, even if you didn't study it at school.
You don't have to study it in order to do it.
Lastly, where do you find you in Dedeli? And you did say you own Legalize It. Where do you find Legalize Daily?
Okay. Our office is at Victoria Hotel, office 106. But since we're now in a digital era and it's the COVID times, you're welcome to visit our website at www.legalizedaily.com. So wonderful websites, just look through it. So there's amazing offerings that we have there. We also have the article section where you can always go through to read some of the things that we write on. You can always email us at business@legalizedaily.com for any business related inquiries, how you can partner with us, how you can collaborate with us, so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you so much for coming to the channel.
Thank you.
I did say you must tell us who you want to see next on the channel, especially on the career series. Please comment below with whoever you want us to invite to the channel. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Cheers.